Increasingly confident with recent polling, Hillary Clinton is looking past November 8th and beginning to lay out her White House agenda. I didn't say that. That's according to a new report from the Washington Post that says, quote, while careful not to sound as if she is measuring the draperies quite yet, Clinton now describes what she calls improved odds for passage of an overhaul of immigration laws, the first legislative priority that she's outlined in detail last year, and what could be a bipartisan effort to rebuild the nation's roads, bridges, airports, rail system, and ports. In other words, she's getting ahead of the game. Joining me now to talk more about this is Taryn Rosenkranz. She's a Democratic strategist and a Hillary Clinton supporter. And then Kristen Tate. She is a conservative political columnist and a Donald Trump supporter. Taryn, first, you always have to sort of, I think, as a candidate, plan for the future, but not look like you're planning too far into the future. So the optics here could be rather bad, thinking that maybe Hillary is too confident she's going to win. What do you think?
Yeah, and I want to be clear. I don't think that the campaign is trying to get ahead of themselves. I think what they're trying to do is really actually outline the agenda in details to provide what a Clinton White House would look like. So voters really want that vision. Like, what is a White House with a Clinton in it, with a different Clinton in it, going to look like? And how will that differ? And what will be her priorities? And I think with so much of this election going by, and we're so close now, and we're not hearing a lot about the issues, she really wanted to put those details in there and really lay out that, specifics, if you will, of that blueprint.
Kristen, this could be an advantage, actually, for Donald Trump, because it could really get some people so fired up, angry that Hillary is expecting to win so easily, they're going to turn out and vote against her. But I've got other issues to talk about with Donald Trump. If he doesn't plan beyond winning, wouldn't he be criticized for that, too?
Well, here's the bottom line. Hillary Clinton is taking it for granted that she's going to win way too early. By assuming that she's going to win, she's also assuming that Donald Trump is going to continue to run a very weak campaign. And to be fair, he has run a relatively weak campaign up until a couple of days ago. But on Thursday and Friday, we saw a much different Trump. We saw a Trump that was strong, yet humble, a Trump that will admit to his mistakes. And if he keeps on that path, Hillary should not assume she's going to win. Trump could appeal to a lot of voters if he keeps on this path of strength, yet being humble and talking about us, the voters, instead of focusing on himself and personally attacking his critics.
Right, okay, so a new Trump, and we could look for that. Taryn, also in this report about a former Obama staffer is saying that if Hillary Clinton wins, it will be an uphill battle, and I think what they're referencing is, well, here's the quote. I don't think any president has come to office underwater on their favorable image. This would be, or as underwater, this would be uncharted waters coming to an office as an unpopular person. You don't have a wellspring of goodwill to draw on, even in the first 100 days. There's probably a lot of truth to that. How do you think that would affect her initial productivity, again, if she wins?
Right. I mean, I think one of the first things she would have to do is gain and really work for Republican support from, congressional Republicans in order to make sure that she gets that done. Now, that being said, I think there's a lot of room for her to be able to do that because you've got a letter that came from congressional Republicans, over 100 of them, just the other day asking the RNC to pull support from Trump. So I think that there is, for his divisiveness and his recklessness, so I think that there is definitely some movement here that if the scenario is that she wins, and if she wins, that there would be some movement towards her and trying to make sure, because I think it's one thing that we all know is clear, is the country is obviously clamoring for immigration reform. That's why we're having these kinds of conversations, and so she really, and specifically, that would have to be bipartisan, and so we would have to reach across. Okay,
I'm going to bring up something else, because amidst the sort of changes we've seen in the Trump campaign, the Clinton Foundation announced that it's not going to accept foreign donations if Clinton wins. Robbie Mook, Clinton's campaign manager, talked about this with Dana Bash a short while ago. Listen.
But if this is the right policy now, why not do it now? Why wait until the idea of her being president? Why not do it when she is running for president?
Well, the foundation is doing an enormous amount of work, and it takes time when you're in a number of countries around the world to retool, refocus the mission, and adapt. As you said, they receive a great deal of funding through these streams, and it will just take some time for them to readjust.
Kristen, is it okay for the foundation to continue to receive, foreign money up until November?
Absolutely. Absolutely not. I mean, look, the damage has already been done. The Clinton Foundation has accepted tens of millions of dollars from foreign entities. It should have been shut down a long time ago. But this just speaks to how weak a candidate Hillary Clinton is. She's such a beatable candidate. And this is why it's so critical for Trump to stay on track, focus on the issues, and he can beat her. And Martin, we've also got to point out here that a lot of Americans have not really tuned in too closely to this race yet. A lot of this will come down to the first debate. A lot of people will really start paying attention after the first debate and during the first debate. So if Trump can do a good job there, Hillary has got to be careful. She should not take for granted that she has this in the bag.
And that's where this whole conversation began. All right. Taryn Rosenkranz, thank you very much. Christine Tate, thank you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next.